Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. A week at Tottenham is a long week. Chang and I were on last Sunday, and today we're back again. This is now the 6th consecutive week, which makes it episode 6 of Jose and Chang Talk Tottenham. Before I start, let me have a look at this. Right, so as we said before we start, I'm going to welcome Chang. Chang, how are you, sir? This afternoon for you?
Yes, it is, Jose. It's 4:30 p.m. On a Sunday evening now, here in Malaysia in Southeast Asia. Thank you very, very much for having me back on. As always, I'm so relieved that this is episode 6 now, and we have plenty to cover in today's episode. So, without further ado, let's get this show on the road, Jose.
Fantastic. We've got Jimmy Hotspurs here. Says big up Jose, Chang, and the chat from Sunny Lake District. Luke's here. Says good morning, both. Hope you're both doing well. Are you watching this on Chang? Because I can. There's an echo every time we talk.
I don't have an echo here. Let me check on my stream, because currently I don't have an echo on my end. But I'll just check. So is this better now, Jose? Are you still getting the echo from my end, or is it fixed now?
No, it's fixed. That's it. Sorted. Chang saying thank you to Mr. Jimmy Hotspur for tuning in this beautiful morning. Graham's here. Good morning, Jose and Mr. Chang. Hope you're both well. Good morning, Graham. I hope you're well, sir. I hope you're well. I have an echo, and it's only when you talk, but it's all good now. It's sorted, Luke. Chang sorted it out. Archer says good morning, guys. Right. So it's a week since we last did a show. And a week's a long time at Tottenham. Can't even remember what we talked about, but we talked about anything that happened last week all the way till we were playing a game last Sunday, because we did it in the morning. And something similar is happening again this week. We're playing again on Sunday. So last week, since our show, the first talking point, Chang, is we got a victory on Sunday after we finished the show against Southampton, and we relegated Southampton. What are your thoughts on the Southampton game, mate?
So this Southampton game, I think there wasn't any ever doubt, never any doubt that we would get a result at home. And Southampton, well, they were rightly relegated. The way they were playing against us, even though they had that very faint glimmer of hope of staying up, had they got a result. But put it this way, Jose, I thought we could have wrapped that game up in the first half alone. I mean, the Bergvall goal that was ruled out by VAR, that goal notwithstanding, I thought we were good for at least another 2 or 3 goals that first half. And I am happy. I am happy for the lads that they got a much deserved 2-0 lead going into the second half. But that second half, though, which is what I'm going to stress here, because I know this is something that we might have to see later on this afternoon when we take on Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Molineux. That second half against Southampton, especially the first half hour, straight off from kickoff, I thought we were missing for large parts of it. And when they got their goal back into the game, I thought it was deserved for them. But credit where credit is due. Brennan Johnson, good on him for getting his 2 goals. I personally thought that he should have taken a penalty right towards the very death, seeing as how he was already on a hat trick and it was him who won the penalty kick in the first place. But it's good to see Matthias Tel get on the score sheet in the Premiership as well. That's broken his duck. And all in all, it was a resounding win. Southampton were rightly relegated, and it's I think it's something that I should mention as well. This is something that is noteworthy for us Spurs fans. Aaron Ramsdale has been relegated for a record 3rd time now from the Premiership. I think it was with Bournemouth, Southampton, and I can't remember the 3rd team, but I remember it was 3 teams. Aaron Ramsdale has been relegated now. But that's all but over, Jose. I thought the game was good, and we did learn some lessons from there. Hopefully the lessons learned from last Sunday will be carried on to later on this afternoon, because I'm sure we will be doing a bit of the preview against Wolverhampton Wanderers. But yeah, all in all, I was pleased with the home win against Southampton. Although yes, there still is work to be done, especially given how we played in the second half. Straight off from kickoff, but a win still a win. Good on Johnson getting those 2 goals, and Matthias Tel as well, slotting home a penalty. And let's see if the lads and especially Big Ange will be able to carry on from that league win over into this afternoon's away fixture at Molineux against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Having said that, back to you, FA.
We have Ghost says, big up everyone. Good morning to you, good afternoon or good evening, Ghosted. Young Finn's here. There's morning chaps in the chat. Good morning, Finn. I hope you're aware. Well, Jimmy Hotspur says his Rolex was offside, Chang. Tottenham Ranger is here. It says, big up, Jose. Good morning, good afternoon or good evening to you, Tottenham Ranger. I hope you're well. And Chris Agambar says, good morning, Jose, Mr. Chang. Good morning, Chris. I hope you're well. And look who's just come in. Shemtan. Good morning, Mr. Bossman Jose, and the youngest looking old man, Mr. Chimichanga Chang. Hopefully you're both well and having a lovely weekend, young sirs. Thank you very much. I'm not too sure whether I'm a young sir though, Shemtan, but I'll take it. Chang, just as you were saying, right? Some stuff that you said. If I share this more or less describes a bit of what you said. The yellow represents Tottenham and the attacking and the stats for Tottenham and Southampton. And in the first half, as we all saw, there's more yellow, a lot more yellow than white, yeah? And in the second half, the yellow disappears. And there's more white than yellow. So these are the stats for the game. So match momentum, that is the graph I'm showing there. So it pretty much rounds up exactly what you were talking about, Chang, doesn't it?
Exactly, Jose. I mean, looking at the graph alone, as not just only the graph, but if you look at the overall possession for the entire 90 minutes, that's a big circle there, right smack in the middle, where it's almost 50-50. We just nicked the possession rate by a few decimal places, but that itself tells the tale of how we actually could have maybe dominated the game a whole lot more, rather than just bossing one half and then allowing Southampton to get back into the game in the second half. Whether it had something to do with the midfield or the way we set up, or even the way Big Ange put on the substitutes, that shouldn't be happening, Jose. Not at home, not against a team like Southampton. Of course, it's easy for me to say that, knowing that we have a crunch tie in midweek at home against Eintracht Frankfurt, which could have been playing on the minds of our players on the pitch. But yeah, I mean, regardless of the occasion or regardless of what's looming up ahead, I think the lads have to fully concentrate the whole 90 minutes, not just for one half, Jose, but the whole 90 minutes. We have to be on our toes, and we have to be ready and prepared for anything that's thrown our way. And I think that should be translated to later on this afternoon as well against Wolverhampton Wanderers, because yes, a lot of those players will have one mind firmly set on midweek on our away travels to Germany for the second leg of the Europa League quarterfinal against Frankfurt. But I really do hope that doesn't come to pass later this afternoon. And like I said, Jose, still work to be done, especially when it comes to retaining possession. And not only that, just being able to play out the back without playing ourselves into trouble, which I thought we did on a few occasions against Southampton, especially in the second half. I think that's how, if not mistaken, that's how their only goal came about. And somehow that wasn't dealt with, and we saw how that affected us as well in midweek against Frankfurt at home. I'm going to reserve that for later when we go to the midweek review. But yeah, as far as our possession is concerned, Jose, still lots of work to be done, especially the ball retention and the midfield itself. The midfield itself, I mean, Brookval is almost like a certified starter. The way he carries on for this season, and I'm going to talk about a little bit more about him later when we review the first leg of the Frankfurt game. But yeah, that midfield itself, I mean, Bissouma or Pape Matar, even Madison, they still have to find some way to work with and play alongside Bentancur if they are to get the best of our midfield and progress the ball further up the pitch when we are in transition or we find ourselves on the front foot. Overall, Jose, I think that possession could have been a whole lot better. But let's just hope that lessons will have been learned last Sunday, and I do hope for more. I hope for better statistics later on this afternoon, rather than this against Wolverhampton Wanderers later today. Having said that, back to you, Fa.
So, apart from these stats, you did point out the penalty incident right at the end of the game. Now, I want to dive a bit deeper into to what your thoughts were, because I have thoughts about it. I think you touched upon it earlier, but I wanted to open you up a bit more about it. On it is the fact that I think from what you're saying, are you saying that Johnson should have taken the penalty?
Yes, he should have, Jose. I mean, he's still young and very impressionable, but I mean, he more than deserves the chance to grab his first hat trick in the Premiership. Not that I think he's ever gotten a hat trick for Forest prior to joining us. Not that I'm aware of, but from his own effort, his his tenacity for both halves, and when he won the penalty right towards the very death, I thought he would have more than earned and deserved his opportunity to notch his first hat trick. But it would seem that our leadership group, consisting of Sonny, I think no, Sonny was already off by then. It was Romero. Romero's the one who gave the ball over to Tel, which I think in the larger picture, for the greater good, put it this way, Jose, for the greater good, not just for one player, but for the morale of the entire team. Now that I think about it, yes, maybe it would have been a better choice to give the spot kick over to Tel so that he breaks his duck in the Premiership, and hopefully that would then help galvanize his form for the remainder of the season. Although I know it's only a loan, but if it does prove to be something of a fine before the loan expires, we might even make the loan permanent. And I really was hoping that that penalty that he slotted home would be the catalyst to him probably providing a few more goals and assists before the end of the season. And let's just see whether that translates to some GAs for Tel later on this afternoon, possibly even in midweek against Frankfurt in Germany. But yeah, I felt that when the penalty was taken, it should have been Johnson who should have been given a chance to grab his hat trick. But now that Tel has slotted home the penalty, and we still came away 3-1 winners with a 2-goal margin, quite comfortable at home. For the greater good, for the good of the team, I think Tel's spot kick was justified. And let's just hope that isn't the last we've seen of Tel scoring in the Premiership this season. Jose, back to you, FA.
Right, we've got Kiwi Spurs TV is here. He says, "Big up my guys. Good evening." It's early evening for you, I believe, Kiwi Spurs TV. So I'm going to say good afternoon, good evening to you. Shemtown says, "Oh, no, I'll come to Shemtown because he's talking about today's game, right?" So Ronnie says, "Big up Jose, Mr. Chang." Drewler's here. Says, "Morning, Jose, Chang, and the Cockerel crew." And then you have Jimmy Hotspur's opinion on this is he scored the penalty, so no problem. If you had missed, you can have a different conversation for me. Right. For me, right, I suppose it comes down to the situation that we're in. And the situation that we're in, to me, dictates that the penalty should be taken. No sentiments. There should be no sentiments at all. The penalty should be taken by the designated penalty taker. If we were in a different set of circumstances, i.e., we were in the top 5 in the league, everything was swimming in the right direction, you had no fear of, missing out points and, a different set of circumstances, then maybe sentiment might have taken over and you might have given Johnson the penalty. But I just think that when in the teams that I've played for and that, there was a designated penalty taker, and that person would take the penalty, unless if you were, as I said, it was a different set of circumstances, but 9 times out of 10, there's a designated penalty taker will take the penalty. I didn't see an issue in it at all. I saw that Johnson was a tad bit unhappy, only a tad though, at the end of the game, and he was being spoken to by Sonny and a couple of others. But yeah, for me, the designated penalty taker takes the penalty. He took the penalty, he scored it. Good penalty, bad penalty, indifferent penalty. He scored the penalty. And at the end of the day, the result was 3-1 because he scored the penalty. So that's my view on the penalty. I also agree with you. It was a game of 2 halves. First half, we should have obliterated them. The second half, there's so many things that you can attribute the second half to. Did Southampton get better? Did we take our foot off the gas because of Thursday? There's so many different ways that you can look at it. Or was it that we were just really dire? I mean, there's so many different ways of looking at it. But for me, the fact, I think the second half, rightly or wrongly, was a managed half, because I felt that Southampton tweaked and make some changes, but I felt we took our foot off the gas as well. And in saying that, if we took our foot off the gas, like I believe that we did, then maybe there's an argument that he should have made changes in the game earlier than what he did. Because if you're taking our foot off the gas, then you should bring other players on. Is what my thought is. I mean, we changed Odegaard and Saab, both came on in the 57th minute for Sonny and Rodrigo Bentancur. But then we didn't make our next substitutions till the 80th minute, when we swapped out Maddison for Basuma and Gray for Bergvall. And Matthias Tel came on for Solanke in the 87th minute. I felt that if we're managing ourselves and Southampton have got better, then the substitution maybe should have come in a tad earlier. And they're my thoughts on Southampton. Agree, disagree?
Fully agree with you on that, Jose. Fully agree with you on that. And not only on the substitutions, or even the way we set up in that second half. I felt that the players who were on the pitch, those who felt that they had a good chance or a very strong chance of featuring in midweek against Frankfurt, they weren't really, getting into top gear for that matter. and they were reserving themselves for Frankfurt at home. And there is that strong possibility we will see something very similar again this afternoon against Wolves, although I really do hope that lessons, again, I have to keep mentioning this, I hope lessons have been learned from last Sunday, and that Big Ange himself doesn't hold back when it comes to fielding our reserve players or our bench warmers. I mean, for all the world, it will for the world of good it will do for some of those players, the Mikey Moores, whether it's your, even your, let's see now, we still have Kinski in goal. Some of these players, they deserve a start, and I would rather us feel the youngsters if it means giving our starters more time to prepare for a away trip to Germany. But yes, that second half against Southampton, especially the substitutions, Jose, the substitutions should have been made a whole lot sooner. And I thought that, again, this is something I will come back to later when we talk about midweek against Frankfurt. And it has something to do with substitutions. But yeah, the substitutions should have been happening a whole lot sooner rather than much, much, much later on as the game wore on. And that somehow did affect our momentum, even the way that the team was gelling on the pitch. But yeah, a win is still a win nonetheless. And I really do hope for a much improved second half in the league against Wolverhampton Wanderers, because otherwise then it will be a very, very tough and a long afternoon for us to have to endure. Let's just hope, let's just wait and see, and hope Big Ange knows what's best for the team, especially since given that we have a midweek away fixture in Germany to come. Having said that, back to you, Jose.
I'm going to say good evening.
Good evening.
Just don't echoing again. Right, I'm going to say good evening to Pietro Cagallas, or should I say buenas tardes to Pietro Cagallas. It's 6:52 p.m. in Melbourne. So good evening to you, Peter. Thank you for joining us. It's nice to see you. Looking at the lineup, so the 5 people that he emptied the bench against Southampton, the only 4 players that didn't get to a minute on the pitch were Kinski, the goalkeeper, and the last 3 names at the bottom there are Udogie, Richarlison, and Van der Ven. And we know that Udogie and Van der Ven ended up starting against Frankfurt. So the 5 players that did come off the bench did not start the game against Frankfurt on Thursday. And one of them, in Odegaard, there was some talk about him being injured leading up to the Frankfurt game. Yeah, we will talk about the Frankfurt game next, I suppose. So, right. So we move on. So that was Sunday of last week. Then it didn't happen. We didn't hear much about Tottenham at all during the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's not much to say about Tottenham. There's not much news coming out at all. Just a few clips of them training and stuff like that. And then we ended up coming to the quarter-final. And it wasn't a quarter-final draw, as in the sense that we were drawn out of the hat against the team. It was actually a draw itself. So, Chang, quarter-final draw, Frankfurt, your thoughts?
So that quarter-final, I thought it was a good game. It was a game that I thought we deserved to win, although that the final score might suggest otherwise. But if we look at the second half, I mean, what a leap, or rather, should I say, what a difference in second halves when you compare the way we played against Southampton on Sunday and how we just wanted to get the lead and score a winner in the second half. I mean, you just have to look at that Bergvall chance that rattled the I think it was the upright or the crossbar. I can't remember which it was, but it was somewhere, I think, around the hour mark. And that should have been a goal to win any game. Unfortunately, it's not to be. And now we have quite a monumental task on our hands going away on our travels to Germany to try and avoid defeat in the 90 minutes. If it does go to penalties, it will be a tight affair. But looking at the second half, Jose, that gives me hope that we would be able to, probably just grab a winner before the 90 minutes. But again, I will just speak very plainly from what I saw in the highlights because I wasn't able to watch the game as it was being played live from between 3 to 5 a.m. local Asian Friday morning. The way we gave away the goal in the first 5 minutes, I thought was just so typical of us. James Madison getting robbed in possession at the halfway line. And even though we had plenty of bodies back, I thought Poro was rather loose with his marking. He didn't get close to his man, and that allowed him to drift inwards, cut in. And by the time the shot was unleashed, absolutely nobody closed down. Etike, is it? I think his name is the Frankfurt player who scored their only goal. No
Ekitike.
one, Ekitike, thank you, Jose. So no one closed him down. And it was already 1-0 to the away side as early as the 5th minute. But in retrospect, now that the game is over, I thought it was if there ever was a best or rather a better time for the opposition to score, it would be early on in the game so that we would have ample time to get back into the game. And credit where credit is due as well to Pedro Porro, who didn't close down his marker for their opener. He scored from a very cheeky back heel, all thanks to the industrious medicine, who was also trying to make up for losing possession. That's resulted in us conceding so early on. The both of them combined for our equalizer. And from that point onwards, you thought that the game, as the game wore on, the team grew in the ascendancy, that we will be able to find our winner. And the number of times we hit the upright or the crossbar tells a story in its own. But at the end of the 90 minutes, the final score is all that matters. It's 1 apiece now, all to play for on our away travels to Germany in Frankfurt. And let's just say that our away form hasn't been all that great this season. And it's something that I'm sure the Frankfurt fans and players and even their management would be looking at to exploit, especially given how we have to play away again later this afternoon at the Molineux to Wolverhampton Wanderers. But still plenty of positives, Jose. Plenty of positives to be taken from that first leg. Let us just hope that we keep our powder keg dry and that the lads will be up for it come Thursday. And I really do hope for no further injuries or even suspensions later on today, so that we may have a fully fit squad to call upon, minus maybe say Kevin Danso and a few other long-term injuries. But
Kulu.
yeah, I really do hope, Jose, we get Kulusevski back. Of all the players, I would really love more. I would love nothing more to have on a plane to Germany would be Kulusevski. I honestly feel that if he had been playing at home against Frankfurt, we would have won that game. Unfortunately, he wasn't playing. But let's just hope that he will be the difference maker in the second leg, which we might have to touch a bit on later on in the show if we are to preview the midweek away game at Frankfurt. But my final thoughts for that first leg, yeah, I thought we were deserved winners, but the final score is all that matters. And hopefully the sloppiness that saw us concede so early in the game is something that we will avoid later on this afternoon against Wolves and possibly as well away in midweek at Frankfurt. All in all, I am still very positive and upbeat. And let's just see how this afternoon transpires. Having just played in midweek against Frankfurt, I really do hope that whoever who takes to the pitch later on this afternoon, they have something to prove as well, so that Big Ange will be able to to have some options to select from in midweek. But yeah, my final thoughts, Jose. A draw is a draw. We can't change the result, but it was something to draw some inspiration from the second half, especially after how we were comparing the two halves against Southampton at home. I just hope that we repeat the same thing later on this afternoon against Wolves, and let's just see how today works out, and hopefully, come next Sunday when we have episode 7, we will have some positive things to be saying about Spurs in the coming week or so. Having said that, back to you, Jose.
My thoughts. I mean, I don't dwell. I normally give my thoughts, I don't dwell. Normally, my thoughts that from when I've seen the game are normally the ones that I carry with me. And straight after the game, I did a show last weekend. I was a guest on a show. Sorry, on Thursday. I was a guest on Thursday on Luke's Spotlight on Spurs. And my thoughts straight after the game are still as my thoughts are now. Sorry, can I just say buenos dias to Daniel Sandoval, who's just joined. Buenos dias, Daniel. I hope you are well. And my thoughts were that I was really happy with the performance that Tottenham had put in. I thought it was an improved performance to what we've seen for the last few months, not even just the one game or two games. It's for the last few months. I thought it was an improved performance, and I thought we played a lot better than what we had done recently. Yeah, the only downer, if people are going to look on a downer, is that we didn't get the victory. So by looking at this, we had 10 shots and 6 were on target to their 4, which 2 were on target. 31 times we had touches in their box to their 13. I mean, you look at these stats and they're heavily stacked in favour, and it's just that we didn't put the ball away. What I will say, if I go to distribution, the only thing that still concerns me on distribution is the backward passes. Tottenham are the kings of backward passes. It does not matter who we play against. We are the kings of backward passes. Now, I totally understand recycling the ball. So when you start and you go backwards, you're recycling the ball. You're resetting yourself, repositioning yourself. And I'm all for that. But the way that Tottenham play is we probably recycle the ball more than anyone that I've seen. It always, if you're in an advanced position and the person, whether it's lack of confidence or whether that people are not showing up for them to receive a pass, we get the ball out wide. We could be in the last third. We play the ball out wide, and instead of the wide player passing it or taking a man on, no, it will go back. And generally, it goes back to either the fullback or they go back to the centre arse, diagonally across back to the centre arse. And we recycle the ball and start all over again. Sometimes we go back all the way to Vicario and start the ball all over again. So, yeah, looking at these stats, and I looked at them and I thought to myself, look at that. Backward passes, 82 to Eintracht 64. So some of the stats, yeah, that you look at, you're just like, wow, you know. But again, I'm going to say that as soon as I came off watching the game, because Luke started his stream minutes after the game had finished, and I spoke like this, you know, I was impressed with the performance compared to that of late, and nothing has changed my mind. I don't feel any different today to what I felt Thursday straight after watching the game when I said that. Yeah, we against Southampton, we did 79 backward passes. And Southampton only did 74. So again, we beat Southampton at backward passes. So we're beating everyone at backward passes. That's the one thing. If there was a trophy for backward passes, we would have the silverware in our cupboard and we would have had it by Christmas. Anyway, Graham says, 100% Jose. The performance was the best in weeks. It was fine margins. We did not walk away the winners. Chang, look at that. Chang's flexing his member badge. Says, Your likes and sharing of this video helps. Thanks. And then we have a good morning, Nige. Big up Jose and Chang. Big up chat. Smash the likes. Nige, I hope you're well. I don't know. I wasn't around last night for your show, and I'm hoping that you feel well this morning, sir. I hope you feel well this morning. Right. So we're moving on. So on Thursday we had this 1-1 draw, and then on Friday we had the press conference. No, sorry, no, before the press conference, the news came out on Friday that we had a new CEO. Your thoughts on that, Chang?
If this is that CEO from Arsenal, if I remember correctly, assuming that this CEO is going to be in charge more on the running of the club rather than the footballing matters, I would say that this should be a marked improvement than say Levy and Enoch having a what do you call this, a hand in our footballing our footballing dealings on and off the pitch. But honestly, Jose, I don't really know much about this CEO or his his highlights from previous clubs, other than he was formerly in charge of Arsenal, and if he is very very well versed in business dealings and handling of footballing matters on and off the pitch in and around N17. I really do hope that does result in some success for us. And not only that, I really do hope that the whatever projects we have ongoing in the Northumberland project, that is going to be help on its way with this new CEO. If you ask me, Jose, what I really think of this appointment, I'm not really too bothered with what happens off the football pitch, because I know these are matters that are beyond us, and a lot of these things that goes on behind the scenes we know very very little about. If there's anything to be to be publicized at all I would say for this new CEO is that I wish him all the very very best in his new appointment, and hopefully that his appointment would also usher in a new dawn, a new age for us. Whether that happens this year or the next year or even the next coming years, we just have to wait and see. But unfortunately I can't comment too much on it because I don't know this CEO, Jose. But I still do wish him all the very best, and let's just hope then that does translate to trophies, silverware, and success for the club in coming years. Having said that, back to you, FA.
So the guy's name is Vinay Venkatesham. During his tenure, Arsenal returned to the Champions League and re-established themselves as a club competing for major honours. Working alongside the Arsenal board, Venkatesham also helped guide the club through the turbulence of the coronavirus pandemic and substantially improve revenue. So that, to me, tells me that there's not much going on in footballing matters, if I look at that. He was also previously the chair of the Olympics, I think he might have been. He worked on the Olympics. I'm trying to see whether I can find anything more. Because at Arsenal, he was not. He wasn't a CEO when he first started Arsenal. He was at Arsenal for 14 years, and he climbed through different ranks. He climbed through different ranks before he became the CEO at Arsenal. All right, let me see what it says here. So I'm trying to look at information because I don't know much about this gentleman at all. So, so he joined Arsenal in 2010 and was made the CEO in 2020. He's well regarded in football and chose to seek a new challenge Interim period gives Arsenal time for a succession plan, business as usual until then. And that's come from David Ornstein from The Athletic when he talks about it. So I'm not sure how this affects Tottenham, to be honest with you. But it was news that came out on Thursday. But I'm not too sure how it affects Tottenham. Some people will turn around and say it's a good move, and some people will turn around and say it's a bad move. So, Drula, according to, from what I've looked at, CFO is what Scott Munn's role is, and this guy that's coming in is going to be a CEO. And if anything, I don't know, the footballing matter seemed to be on Scott Munn's side. So I'm not sure how much changes there, to be honest, because Scott Munn is the CFO. So I'm not sure how much changes. But on Thursday night after the game, when I did,
Is there something wrong on the line?
I'm here. Where are you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I
can.
should still be in the stream. Log out.
I can hear you. I can see you. Sorry, I can see you in the back, but I can't see you on the screen.
That's strange. That's very strange. Let me just. There I am.
You are. There you are. I don't know what happened there, people. I really don't know what happened there. But yeah, sorry. As I was saying, so for my intents and purposes, Scott Munn's a CFO, so nothing changes football wise. I don't think with bringing in this Venkatesan, but we'll have to wait and see. On Thursday after the match, though, we did a show on Spotlight on Spurs, and we talked about, or I talked about, in order to Tottenham have to do a deep dive at the end of the season, right? There's no doubt about it. Tottenham need to look at this season just gone and look at everything. And you need someone to come in and fresh eyes, someone who's not been involved to come in and look at every department and look at where we went wrong to make improvements for next season. Now, I was saying on Thursday that what we need is, in my eyes, we need a change, right? And for me, that change is I still go all out and bring Paratici back. But if you bring Paratici back, then there will be casualties. And the casualties will be Scott Munn, Langer, and Ange. They would be the casualties because when a new person comes in, they bring their own director of football and their own manager in. And we know that Paratici did the same role as Scott Munn did. Paratici was a director on the board and did the same role that Scott Munn did. And Paratici, his DOF was Gabardini, who would be Langer's equivalent. And then obviously, if you're going to bring in your DOF and you're going to be the director, you bring in your own manager. And, you know, whether we like or dislike Ange or anything like that, the person who, if Paratici comes back, Paratici would have to pick the manager. And he favours people like Inzaghi, Motta, Xavi, people like that. So at the end of the day, he would bring in his own manager. So at the end of the day, we were talking about this, that we needed change. And then the following morning, we get the news of the Arsenal CEO coming to Tottenham. Now, as I said, I don't know how much that changes, but I was hoping that we would get someone in the summer, even if it was Paratici, because Paratici has not been involved as a contracted employee. And even Paratici, when Paratici first came to Tottenham, he looked at Tottenham up and down, inside out, and he made changes. He made changes at Tottenham, there's no doubt. And the one thing that we're all led to believe is that Daniel Levy, if there's anybody he's ever listened to on footballing matters, out of all the people that he's had, managers, directors of footballs, friends, acquaintances, the person that's had his ear the most has been Fabio Paratici. And I'm just thinking, so if someone like Paratici came back, yes, there's going to be casualties, but Paratici could look at absolutely everything from top to bottom and deep dive and make the improvements or the changes that are needed for Tottenham to go forward. Because there's problems with our medical team as well. You know, you look at every area of the club, there's been problems. And at the end of the day, it's abnormal. It is abnormal to have as many problems as what Tottenham have had this season or for a number of seasons. It's just abnormal. A club, a business, a company, an organisation doesn't operate like this. You know, at the end of the day, you do a lessons learned and, you know, you rectify it, you move on. So that's my thoughts on this CEO. I don't know enough about him. We'll obviously see in the future what happens. I just fear that he's another person who bridges the gap or helps Levy make more money, and not necessarily on the footballing terms. But that's my thoughts anyway. So moving on from that, Drula is Drula Jimmy Oxford says it'd be better to appoint some quality proven players that go straight in the first team. The next thing that happened, same day, the new CEO was announced in the morning, and then Ange did a presser for today's game. Chang, he talked about there being a mole in the camp. Who's the mole, Chang? I've got my thoughts. I'll tell you, I've got a thought on this. But who do you know? What do you make of this?
It's definitely someone who has some connection to the media or someone who has an outlet to report to, because otherwise, if it's just, let's say, a regular coaching staff or even one of the backroom staff who don't really get interviews or who don't really talk to journalists or reporters, then I think that narrows it down a little. Although I also have my thoughts and my reservations on this. I would say, from a club standpoint, this is not the kind of thing that we would want now. Although I would say that thankfully it's not that serious as we would try and make it out to be. Reporting on a player's fitness or his injuries, I think is the least of our worries. Although that doesn't take away the seriousness of this situation. If there is someone who is leaking insider information to the media ahead of club statements or even over, or rather should I say behind Big Angel's back, that will not do us any good, especially when some of this information, if it's deemed very P&C, very private and confidential, then I think this leak has to be plugged. But I mean, overall, I am thankful that it's not, the information that was leaked isn't overly sensitive. But yeah, I mean, someone has to be accountable for this, and I really do hope that this is the last we'll ever hear of it. Although I have a sneaky feeling it won't. Although if and when this sort of leaks ever come out again, I think it's going to be more to the signings or even the outgoings, if there's anything of that sort. But yeah, this is not the kind of thing that we need to focus on. Although it might take a bit of the heat and the spotlight away from Big Ange and the team. My final thoughts on this league is that I think whoever's responsible for this, I hope they know what they've done and the seriousness of this situation that we find ourselves in. But at the same time, I'm glad that if there was a leak, I'm glad that it leaked out something that wasn't all that sensitive, and that this is handled here and now rather than further down the road, down the line when we do leak out something that is more serious, if there ever arises such a case. I mean, this sort of thing isn't something that anyone will appreciate. I mean, what is the point really, or rather, what do they have to gain from leaking this sort of information out? Whether it's to the media or to the public or even to journalists. I mean, this sort of thing doesn't benefit anyone. And yeah, I really do hope that this is the last we ever hear of it, Jose. But you quite rightly mentioned earlier that you have your own thoughts on this matter. I will very much like to hear what you have to say on this matter, Jose, about the leak.
Right. So yeah, but do you have any idea? Do you have a thought, Chang, on who may be doing it?
I would say it's one of the players. One of the players, especially one who is a lot more vocal than the other players. I doubt it's going to be Sonny or Bergval or someone like a Romero or Van der Ven. My sneaky suspicion is that it could be someone who is constantly on the treatment table, or in the medical department, in the medical wing of the club. Someone like a Richarlison, he could be the one. Someone like a Richarlison, or maybe even Fraser Foster, someone who's constantly in and around that medical department to know who else is on the treatment table alongside him. But other than that, Jose, I unfortunately haven't a clue. But I'm sure you have something to add to this, to contribute to this.
It's interesting what you just said, because I never thought about it the way you said it. I had my thoughts. I still got my thought now, but you've kind of solidified what my thought was, but only by what you said. Can I just say, Colin Blackshaw's here, says, good morning, Jose and Chang. Good morning, Mr. B. I hope you're well. Drula thinks it was Mason, right? And Drula says, I think Ange faked the injury news of Odobert to the mole, and only that's why he knows who it is. No, it's not the players. Ange said it's not, right? People in the chat, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to roll on and tell you what my thoughts are. Who do you think the mole is? Chang, I thought about this the other day, and the first name that came to my mind was this person. But now that you said what you just said, it solidifies who I thought it was, or what my thoughts were already. You just said someone around the treatment table, right? My thoughts were, right, the other day when I thought about this, who's got the biggest mouth, or who seems to be the person who seems to talk the most about Tottenham Hotspur?
You're talking about one of our players, Jose?
No.
If
It's not a player. Who's the most chirpiest? Who's the one that talks the most about Tottenham? Who's the one that's always in X and always putting out interviews about someone he represents at Tottenham? He represents a player, and that
you're
player's
talking about
currently,
one of the agents,
yeah,
the players' agents.
the player's currently on the treatment table. I never thought about the way you said it, but the person who I thought it was, his representative is on the treatment table. Do you know who I thought it was?
I have no idea, Jose, but I'm sure you're going to share it with all of us.
Radu Dragosin's agent.
Wow. Okay, that makes sense.
My
That makes
thoughts
a
on
lot of sense, actually.
my thoughts on Thursday were it's Dragosin's agent. Or Friday, I thought Dragosin's agent, because he's the only one that's got the mouth. He's got a mouthpiece on Tottenham all the time, always talking about Tottenham, always talking about things. Now, I never thought about what you said to me earlier when you said you believe it's someone that's on the treatment table, right? So Dragosin's on the treatment table. His agent doesn't stop talking. So if Dragosin is in and around the treatment table, right, and he talks to his agent, then his agent could then go. So when Drula says, I think Drula says, no, it's not the players, and said it's not. So my thoughts, and Archer's just put in Dragosin's agent as well. My thoughts on Friday were, who's got the biggest mouth at Tottenham? And I thought Dragosin's agent, that's what I thought on Friday. And now that you said your part, it makes more sense to me, because I never thought about that. I just thought about the person with the biggest mouth. I never thought about treatment tables or anything like that. But yeah, so I'm not a very good detective, I'm afraid, Chang. But what do you think of my thoughts?
Okay, when you said earlier, if Big Ange himself has come out openly in the public to verify that it isn't a player who has leaked this information, then I think it makes more sense that it would be one of the backroom staff, because if it wasn't a player who leaked the information, and that is to say that this player, if it was a player, who leaked it, then it's probably that it was from this player who then passed that information on to his agent, who would then find out about Odebeer being on the treatment table, because there shouldn't, or rather, I hope there isn't any means or ways for agents to find out directly for themselves without having to go through their representatives or their players as to what goes in and around behind the scenes on the club, without having to go through, the players. So having said that, assuming that is that none of these players told anyone outside of the club, whether it's their family members, close relations, close friends, or even their own personal agents, then I think now that you did say about, now that you touched on a player's agent, I think it would actually make a lot more sense if it was actually someone close to the club and with access to players and their current welfare, or rather their current status, whether they are fit or recovering or still on a treatment table. I think, and this is what I'm trying to piece together from everything we discussed. I think now I am more certain that it should be, or rather, it could very well have been someone in the backroom staff. Although, because it has come out in public, it's someone who was probably maybe a former player, or someone who has connections to journalists and reporters, in which is why this thing has come out in the open. It could very well be someone like a Ryan Mason, although I really hope it isn't him. But yeah, I mean, now that we have gone through on this, I think this is best left under the carpet. Some things are better left unresolved, and I would trust to Big Ange and also our board of directors to plug and seal this leak before something else comes out in the public where we don't want anyone else to find out about. Having said that, back to you, Jose.
You've got Shem Tam says it's the no, sorry, let's start. Graham says Chirpy the mascot or Doris the tea lady. Shem Tam says it's the medical department. Drula says it's Paul O'Keefe because Paul O'Keefe tweeted the Odebert news. Archer's agreeing it's Dragosin's agent. Shem Tam says sorry, but if Ange told me the sky is blue, I would still check myself because I don't believe anything he says anymore. Mr. David Shear, good evening to you, sir. Says good evening, Jose and Chang, Magnum PIs. This is coming. We have got the world famous David Shear, the world famous baseball correspondent. Good evening to you, David. I hope you're well, sir. Nice to have a chat with you the other day. Drula says someone has been leaking news from around the club, and it's been going on for ages, well before Dragosin came in. But it always seems to be the news that gets leaked out always seems to be about our injuries. That's what I think he was alluding to. It seems to be more about our injuries than anything else. It's not about team selections or anything like that. I think it's just about the injuries is what he was referring to. Might be wrong. And David Clark, good morning, DC, says hi to everyone in the chat. Ange and the club have become that desperate that they have to deflect attention away from themselves with this non-story about a non-description squad player who was out. Right. Talked about the leak. And we move on to Chang. Wolves. We have Wolves today, Chang. What are your thoughts on Wolves today, mate?
So before I start bringing up Wolves today, I think I need to bring this up with regards to Sonny and his possible appearance for us later on this afternoon. If at any point Sonny does appear today against Wolves, he would now draw level with our former goalkeeper, which is Ted Ditchburn. He will draw level with Ted Ditchburn as our sixth highest all-time Spurs player appearances. He will draw level on 452 appearances, and he will be joined sixth with Ted Ditchburn as our sixth most regular Spurs player on 452 appearances. So if he does appear later on today, Sonny would then draw level at 6 with Ted Ditchburn. Well done, Sonny. Congratulations. You are now the sixth highest or the sixth most regularly used player at Tottenham Hotspur. And he would then have to probably play a full season next season if he does hang around, assuming he's not leaving this summer. If he does play a full season next season, he would have a chance to overtake both Glenn Hoddle and Cyril Knowles. Probably Glenn would be the Glenn Hoddle's record would be the one you'll be looking at, in which the end he would be our fifth highest Spurs player to make all appearances for the club. But well done, Sonny. Congratulations. If he does feature today, he will be our sixth joint highest Spurs player to have made appearances in Lily White. So back to the preview now for Wolves today. As I
Sorry,
mentioned, very much.
just before you preview it. Sorry. I'm kind of a bit thrown here because the tea lady, according to Graham, is called Doris, and Chris Agenbar says the tea lady's called Ethel. So we've got a bit of a mixed bag here. The tea lady, is it Ethel or is it Doris, or is there another tea lady? Do we have more than one tea lady at the club? Drula says she thought the tea lady was called Shirley. So do we have three tea ladies at the club, or have we got one tea lady that goes by three different names? I'm not sure. Sorry. With that being said, back to you, Chang. The tea lady conspiracy. Down to you, Chang.
Thank you for that. I really needed that laugh. I mean, I would just say a bit on that tea lady thing. I mean, usually any tea lady, if they are referred to in a general sense, they are usually referred to as Doris, the tea lady. But even the tea lady, honestly, if you really put some thought into it, I doubt it's the tea lady who would be leaking this sort of information, because this sort of
Oh no, I wasn't
this sort
talking about I wasn't talking about the leak, Chang. I
oh,
was just
okay.
interested that three people have got a different name for the tea lady. Sorry, Mr. M. Good morning, sir. It's been a while. I hope you are well. Hope you're well, Mr. M. Wenger out and the tea lady out, says Mr. M. Go on, sorry, Chang. Wolves today, my friend. Wolves today.
Yeah. Okay. So I have mentioned, or I can't remember how many times I already mentioned since we started Jose and Chang now. This is probably the third or even the fourth time I'm going to mention this, in which that we have absolutely nothing to play for in the league. And seeing as we can't get relegated, and neither are we going to be qualifying for Europe next season via the league, I think it only makes sense for Big Ange to feel I wouldn't say it's a weakened team, more like a reserve team. The bench warmers and the substitutes, the fringe players. I did mention earlier, the likes of Mikey Moore, maybe even a Richarlison. Give Vicario a rest. Let Kinski play some games between the sticks in the league. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit, Jose, if this is yet another loss incoming. Although I will not outright say that we are going to lose today. Rather, that it's going to be a difficult and tough fixture to have to overcome. But yeah, for the players who are going to be taking part today, regardless of whether they are regulars or not, I really do hope that they give us fans some food for thought, and that we have some sort of momentum going into our midweek away fixture in Germany. But before that happens, I have to say that if we have to do the business away on our travels in Germany, come Thursday night, I think it's only appropriate that we kick it off by getting a result later this afternoon away on our travels as well. This time domestically at the Molineux against Wolverhampton Wanderers. But yeah, if you ask me, Jose, I'm not expecting the likes of Son or even Solanke, probably not even a Madison to start the game. The substitutes that we've been having to call upon in the recent matches, the Matthias Tells, the Pepe Matassars, I really do hope they get a start today. And I think Jet Spence didn't start on Thursday night. He might be starting at left back if it means giving Udogi a rest today. And I can see Archie Gray starting as well if it means either one of Romero or Mickey Van der Ven getting a rest. I would be leaning more towards, say, pairing Ben Davis with Archie Gray as opposed to maybe one of Van der Ven or Romero partnering Archie Gray in defense today. Let's just see how that works out. But I'm not expecting big things from us. But I will try and watch the game, even though it's going to be kicking off roughly around my bedtime at 9 p.m. on a Sunday night here in Southeast Asia. And I really do hope that we have something positive to be reporting on this away fixture come next Sunday when we do episode 7 of Jose and Chang. But my final thoughts on this preview for Wolves today, I am still going to predict that we will win, as rare as that is for us, whether that is domestically or even in Europe. I will still be sticking to my prediction of us coming away with a win. And I will also be sticking to my 2-1 away prediction. I hope that if we do concede, it's fairly early in the first half, so that will also give us ample time to maybe draw level and find a winner, much like our home game against Frankfurt. Although whether or not we do win a game is a completely different story altogether. To be very honest, I would be I would be satisfied with a draw. And for me, I think anything more than a draw is going to be a big bonus for us. But yeah, I will still stick to my 2-1 prediction. And let me know, people in the chat, let me know your thoughts on today's game. What are your score predictions for full time for our match day 32 league encounter against Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Molineux? I personally, I'm going for a 2-1 away win. I would back someone like a Bergvall to score if he does feature. I mean, he's due a goal. That effort that rattled the crossbar on Thursday night, that was a goal that should have won any game, but unfortunately it didn't go in. So I really do hope he does get back on the score sheet for us. And yeah, if Richarlison is starting or playing today, I would love nothing more than to see him score for us against against league opposition, much like he did against Everton, although that came a little too late earlier this year when we lost to Everton by 3-2. If Richarlison is starting or playing, I would love nothing more than to see him score. But please do let me know. People in the chat, if you are still listening to this, what are your scoreline predictions for this afternoon, and who are your preferred goal scorers, if any at all? Having said that, back to you, Jose.
So Chang, how many? You talked a little bit about it. How many changes, if any, do you think he'll make? Because there's two schools of thought, Chang. My school of thought, for me, says to me quite clearly that you always play your strongest team, regardless of where we are in the league, regardless of what games you've got coming up. There's not many games left to go. What are we? Game week
32.
32. But basically, without looking further than Thursday's game against Frankfurt, we know that we definitely have 7 games left of the season. And for me, it normally takes about 5 or 6 games to get up to speed. So for me, I wouldn't be resting players. I'd be picking my strongest lineup today. Do you think? Do you think that he will do the? Do you think he's going to make lots of changes? I mean, I can see one change could definitely be made at the back, definitely, because you've got 3 into 2 doesn't work. So you've got a doggy, Porro, and Spence. So I expect that to change, right? I expect one of them players to miss out. I'm not too sure about changing centre arse. Do you change any in the midfield? I think we need to change some of the up front. Me personally, I'd give Sonny a rest today, personally, but I wouldn't be making up wholesale changes. How many do you think we're going to make? And it's interesting.
Mm,
I've asked the chat to get us questions, um, and Jimmy Oxford's come with the first one. He says, "What team do you expect we put out today?"
So I did mention earlier, I would love nothing more than to see our fringe players, whether it's your Kinski in goal, Archie Gray in defense, or Ben Davis, probably even Mikey Moore, if he even has a starting chance or even an outside chance of featuring today. I think it's very important for Richarlison to be starting today ahead of Solanke, because we need someone like Solanke to be fully fit and firing in midweek against Frankfurt away in Germany. And if Solanke is to be able to affect proceedings, I think he's going to be needed to be fully fresh and fit for Thursday. And we did see a bit of Richarlison coming on towards the end, the very, very end. Let's see now. He came on in the 86th minute. Richarlison came on very, very late for Solanke in the 86th minute against Frankfurt. So hopefully that would mean that he starts ahead of Solanke today. And the other changes, we made three. We made three changes sometime in the 80th minute, where Tel, Matthias Tel, Pepe Matassar, and Spence, they came on for Son, Madison, and Udogi respectively. So I do hope Pepe Matassar, Jet Spence, and Matthias Tel, they start as well ahead of Madison, Son, and Udogi. But otherwise, I think it's pretty much the same as you expect. Probably, we might probably see a midfield duo or a midfield partnership of Bissouma and Sar, if that means we get Ben Davis and Archie Gray starting in centre back. And I am just I've just been informed that Mikey Moore was on the bench against Frankfurt, although he didn't feature. Hopefully, he gets a run out in the team today, as does probably one of either one of. But Odebeer isn't fit, so maybe it's going to be Tel. Yeah, it's going to be Tel. So if I were to give my predicted lineup for today, I think it would be Vicario in goal, although I would very much it be Kinski, but I think Vicario keeps his place in goal. Our back four is going to be consisting of Spence at left back, ahead of Udogi, Archie Gray and Ben Davis to make up the two centre backs, and probably Porro in right back again. As for our midfield duo, mentioned earlier, I would like to see Bissouma and Sar start ahead of Bentancur and Madison. We might probably see Bergval start again, although it wouldn't surprise me one bit if someone like a Mikey Moore or even Matthias Tel plays at attacking midfield. As for our front line, well, I think it's only fitting for Richarlison to start ahead of a Solanke. So let's see whether Johnson. Let's just see whether Johnson or Tel starts for us on the wings. Because otherwise, with Odebeer missing out through injury, I think our options up front aren't that great, which makes all the more sense for someone like Tel to, someone like Mikey Moore to be starting. So yeah, that would be my preferred starting 11. Everyone, people in the chat, let me know who your preferred starting 11 is, or rather, who would you rather have on the pitch today, as opposed to some of the regular starters we've had in the previous matches. And yeah, regardless, again, I have to say this for the umpteenth time, regardless of who takes to the pitch, I wish them all the very best. And I really do hope that they give Big Ange food for thought as to why they should be starting in a few days' time in Germany against Frankfurt. Having said that, back to you, Jose.
I'm just looking because I think some people. Jimmy says, I expect Davis, Spence, Bissouma, Gray, Richarlison, and Mikey Moore at least to start today. Graham says the midfield three of Gray, Sarr, and Bergvall would be interesting. I said I called for that a while ago, but it never happened. Ed M says this is what I'd like to see: Vicario, Porro, Romero, Davis, Spence, Gray, Bentoncourt, Madison, Odebert, Solanke, Tel. Truda says he might start Gray midfield. I don't know whether Mr. M's still about, but Mr. M, you're still about. I'll just put a post in there. If you want to do, because we've missed you on predictions, if you want to do the 6 remaining games, I'm prepared to do them with you today, if you want. Ed M's here, says, good morning, Jose and Chang. And chat, good morning, Ed M. Shemtam basically says, should we not start mostly the same team as Thursday to keep some consistency and rhythm to the team, especially as we don't seem to take the league seriously anymore?
Yeah, I have something to say to that effect, if I may, Mr. Shamtan. I fully respect your opinion on how we should be fielding our starters regularly so that they get some sort of a partnership, some form of understanding, and hopefully be able to, gel off and on the pitch, and hopefully that will then translate to, victories, possibly even silverware come end of the season. However, Mr. Shamtan, you have to remember our medical team, or rather the lack of a medical team that we have right now, is the reason why we have so many injuries and unnecessary niggles, reoccurring injuries and niggles to players throughout this whole season. And if we are to be able to call upon a fully fit squad come Thursday night, I think it only makes sense to give those regulars a much needed rest, seeing as they only played a few days prior on Thursday night. Having said that, again, I would have to leave it down to Big Ange to call the shots on who's going to start today. But yeah, I think it would make a lot more sense really to keep our players fresh, especially those regular starters, whether they are on form or off the boil, whether you are Solanke or Son or even Madison. I would still very much like to have them in the starting 11. And I would say the same goes for those players who are regularly injured, whether it's your Van der Vans with his hamstring or Romero with whatever is troubling him prior to him returning for us. Yeah, I would still very much like to see substitutes. But let's just wait and see. I believe kickoff, let me see. It's supposed to be a 2:30 p.m. kickoff, and we are about an hour away from 12 p.m. noon. So yeah, game's going to be coming up. Game's going to be commencing rather soon. Regardless of the team, again, I would say, Mr. Shamsan, enjoy the match ahead, and let's hope for a pleasing result by the end of the day. Having said that, back to you, Jose.
Sorry, I'm just going to divert away for a second for Mr. M and Destiny. Right, I'm going to give them the chance to do the last 6 games in the predictions. So, Mr. M and Destiny and anyone else, Chelsea versus Ipswich is your first game. It's only because I've got them both here now that I'm going to do it, so they can do the last 6 games that are remaining. Right, so Chelsea, Ipswich, Mr. M and Destiny. Drula says Mr. Levy is building a new medical department with all the latest equipment and new medical staff with cryotherapy chambers. They're both gone for 3-0, these gentlemen. Look at that. They didn't like Flynn. Both gone for 3-0. Makes it nice and easy. Wenger out, says Destiny. So Destiny and Mr. M are both on Wenger out still. Your next game, Liverpool, West Ham, please, gentlemen. Liverpool versus West Ham. And in saying that, Paige says, good morning, Paige. She says, morning, Peach. Listen in the background. Make sure you like and subscribe. And then you've got someone else put their team in there as well. Ronnie says, I think it will be Vicario, Spence, Romero, Davis, Udogi, Biss, Sarr, Madison, Tel, Richie, Odebert is what he thinks the teams will be. A 4-1 for Destiny and a 3-1 for Mr. M. Right, so let me get Mr. M on a 3-1 and Destiny is on a 4-1. Now, next game is, for you guys, is Wolves versus Tottenham. Today's game, what's your prediction? Wolves versus Tottenham, please. Destiny and Mr. M. That's a nice big badge you got there. Look at that. We have Chang the man with his badge. Oh, a 1-0. So half a Daigle and a Daigle is what we have here. Let me just get you both in. Right. And then we move on. And the next game you've got is Newcastle versus Manchester United, please. Shemtam. Shemtam says 1-2. You're going to do the other ones, Shemtam, as well. I've tried to rope Shemtam into this for ages. So 3-0 is what Mr. M's going for. 3-1 Mr. M. Mr. M. A 3-0 for Senor Destiny. And is it a 3-1 from Shemtam? Yeah, 3-1 for Shemtam. Right, I got ya. And then your next game is Bournemouth versus Fulham. Pace says, normally I would have said something with Mr. Chang showing that badge up so close, but he is so nice, I won't corrupt his mind with filth. Aye. Chang's blushing. Oh, look at that. We've got 2 Daigles here. Double Daigle. Ah. Destiny and Shemdown. Double Daigles. Mr. M. Mini Daigle. And then the 6th game that you guys can predict is Newcastle versus Crystal Palace. And Drula says, did you hear about Eddie Howe being in hospital for a few days, so he won't be at the game, and Amarin has dropped Onana? Yeah, that came through. The news about Onana came through this morning. Onana is not in the Manchester United matchday squad for today's game against Newcastle. And yes, Eddie Howe was taken ill on Friday night and taken into hospital in emergency. So I had heard about it. I'm just putting Destiny in there. Mr. M says 3-2. Pray for Eddie, says Destiny. Shemtam, what's your score in this one, mate? Newcastle Palace. Newcastle Palace, Shemtam. Shemtam. Oh, has he dropped the mic? Shemtam says 3-2 as well. Right, Shemtam, you missed the first two. So just to make sure that you get your 6 in as well. I'm just going to do the first two and then we can go back with it. Shemtam, your first one was Chelsea Ipswich. Chelsea versus Ipswich. I've got a feeling this is Shemtam's first time doing it. And Shemtam's gone 3-1. And then Shemtam, finally for you, Liverpool versus West Ham. Here, not here. It does my head in. 2-0 for Shemtam. Right, so we are there with that for Shemtam. Thank you very much, gentlemen. You are all in now in. Going away from that, so with the Wolves today, I suppose with Wolves today, we know we've got to play them today. After today, we play Thursday, Chang, in the second leg, and then kindly, and I'm going to say kindly, it's for TV purposes. This is all done for TV, but kindly they have moved our game against Forest at home is moved to the Monday night game, which means you get a day extra rest. So with that in mind, we instead of playing Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, we'll be playing Sunday, Thursday, Monday. So we'll get the extra day. So what are your thoughts? Because obviously we've got the episode 7 next week, and episode 7 will probably discuss everything from today onwards, from when we finish the show today. So we'll definitely be covering Wolves. We'll definitely be covering the second leg. And we'll be talking about a game that will be taking place the following day from our stream. So what are your thoughts for this week coming up, Chang?
You're talking about you're referring to the games that we have in hand before next Sunday.
Yeah, so basically we've talked Wolves today. So coming up, the only game after we can talk about, you can give me your thoughts on that, is the return leg against Eintracht.
Okay, so yeah, I did mention earlier that at the beginning of the show, when we were discussing the first leg, I think we should have enough left in the tank to see out the second half and book our place in the semi-finals. Although, much like the first leg, or rather much like this whole quarterfinal tie, I really do hope we get the business done, wrapped up in the first half, because the longer the game drags on, uh, either goalless or either on level pegging, the nervousness and also the lack of consistency is going to be creeping in, which is why I really do hope that if we have to score, we do score very early on, sort of like invite them to attack us and probably hit them on a counter, as we usually do away on our travels, because to play the home opposition at their own game, at their own ground, might not be something that is suited to this team. Not that I think we are incapable of it, but just the way Big Ange sets us up, I don't think we should be trying to take them on head on away on our travels. So I really do hope that we score early on in the first half. Probably, I think 2 goals should do it for us in the first half, so that even if we do concede that odd goal in the second half, we should be able to see it out. But it is going to be a very interesting encounter if the first leg is anything to go by. I am also going to, much like the Wolves game today, I am also going to go for a 2-1 away win prediction for Thursday night. So I think that's an early preview for everyone on what I think Thursday night's final score is going to be. I'm expecting us to come away 2-1 winners in full time, in regular time, extra time notwithstanding. And the players whom I thought would be scoring on Thursday night, the Solankis and the Suns, I really do hope they score away on their travels, because if we have to draw upon experience, especially in Europe, I think there's none better than Son, especially when he's back in Germany. It's all stomping ground in the Bundesliga before he joins us. I really do hope he returns to Germany with a goal or two. And yeah, I really am looking forward to that game more so than today. But it's going to be a very tight encounter, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if we actually hit into extra time or even penalties. And if that does happen, then it will be anybody's game. If that has happened, but yeah, fingers crossed, Jose, fingers crossed, everyone. We get the win on Thursday night, and then we can start planning. We can start planning for our semi-final. Whoever we're going to face in the semi-final. And having said that, come on, you Spurs.
So sorry. So what do you think? So is it a victory for Tottenham on Thursday? Is it a draw?
It's a victory. It's a victory for Tottenham on Thursday. I mentioned earlier, I'm predicting us to come away 2-1 winners in regular time, because as I mentioned, the longer we let the game drag on level pegging, if it does go into extra time or even to penalties, then that's where we lose all momentum. And I would, as I mentioned also, I hope we do score early on, which is why I'm hoping that we do score 2 goals in the first half and maybe just park the bus a little in the second half. Basically, everything that happened at home against Southampton, that's what I'm hoping will come to pass on Thursday night, whereby we score 2 first half goals, and maybe if we do concede 1 in the second half, we should still be able to park the bus and see out the tie. But yeah, I am going to be going with a 2-1 prediction, and I'm predicting Son and Solanke to be scoring on Thursday night.
Fantastic. I have gifted 5 channel memberships today to people, and they've gone to Moravian 1980, Kate and Jimbo from The Perfect Match, Just a Harmless Potato, Queen Ellie Hoiberg, and Michelle Zachariah. So if you've received a membership, it's because yours truly has gifted out 5 channel memberships. For me, Thursday, I look at, it's going to be an intimidating atmosphere. There's no getting away from it. But then, what do you expect when you play in Europe? I was disappointed on Thursday, Chang. We seemed to have a soulless bowl. So at our stadium, the fans weren't the 12th man this week for us, and they haven't been for a while. It seems like we've got a soulless bowl. For one reason, there could be a whole multitude of reasons as to why it's a soulless bowl at the moment. But they let Frankfurt come in on Thursday with their drums, and with all the paraphernalia that they let them in the stadium. They got past security, so the security allowed them in with it, and for all intents and purposes, all the noise for the whole 100 minutes, 90 minutes, 100 minutes of the game came from Eintracht Frankfurt, and not much from Tottenham Hotspur's supporters. So the away support, although it's good, Tottenham have got better away support, it seems, at the moment than home support. Although it's good, the Tottenham away support, they're going to be drowned out in Frankfurt. But I then look at our team of players that we've got, and people say intimidation. But then if I go through the team that we have, to the players that we've got to select from, I think to myself, intimidation or not, it should become second nature. So when I look at Vicaria played in Italy in intimidating stadiums because they've got all their ultras near enough every team. Romero's a World Cup champion who's played multiple World Cup and Copa America winner, and therefore would have played in intimidating atmospheres. Pedro Porro in Portugal, when they were playing Benfica, Porto, and teams like that for Sporting, it would have been intimidating. So at the end of the day, Porro's played in that kind of atmosphere. Odoghi in Italy's played in that kind of atmosphere. Bentancur, South American atmosphere, would have played, South American derbies against Uruguay, playing against Argentina, against Brazil, against Paraguay. You get the intimidating atmospheres. Sonny has played all throughout the world. So I started looking at it, I think to myself, do you know what? Richarlison has played in intimidating atmospheres. I look at this and I think to myself, we've got a squad of players that a lot of them have played in intimidating atmospheres. And I'm just hoping that the realisation comes in to Tottenham, and they realise that this game on Thursday is the only opportunity they've got to extend the season for themselves and for the fans. So, we're taking all that on board. And Frankfurt haven't been the best lately at home. They haven't been, it's a fact. You look at their scores, they haven't been the best. They're missing a whole load of players, Frankfurt, because the team they put out on Thursday is probably the team that they're going to put out next week as well. So we know about them. We know about their players and that. So for me, even if we go there and we won 1-0, that puts Tottenham through, doesn't it? You don't have to win by 10. You don't have to win by 5. A 1-0 victory will do Tottenham. That puts you through. If you win by 1 goal, you go through to the next round.
I mean, honestly, Jose, I couldn't care less whether it's a scrappy penalty, deflected free kick, or even contentious corner. Any sort of I'll take any sort of victory right now. And you just have to look at the away loss to Chelsea to put into perspective just how delicately poised a match can be. And if there was one away performance that I can draw upon, that might, be of use on Thursday night, it would be the way we utterly demolished and dismantled Manchester City at the Etihad. How we even came away with 4 goals and not conceding in that match, even to this very day, I still cannot fathom how we did that, given how badly we've played in the league this season. But that one performance gives me hope, and I honestly think, Jose, that our game today against Wolves would be the perfect preview of just where the team is at right now mentally, and if there was a better way to prepare for going away to Germany on Thursday night, I think it would start here domestically at the Molineux. And I am going to say this again, I think for the final time, that the players who take to the pitch later on this afternoon against Wolves, I really do hope that they give us all, not just Big Ange and the coaching staff, but us fans as well, some food for thought as to why they should be starting on Thursday night. And let's just see how this afternoon pans out, because I have a sneaky feeling that the outcome for this afternoon would have a very strong bearing on Thursday night's fixture in Germany. Having said that, back to you, Jose.
Ed says, I wouldn't start Son and Madison away at Frankfurt. I'd want them on the pitch full time. And if it does go to extra time pens, both on around 60 minutes, Kulu, Johnson and Richie on late so we can finish strong. Johnny ID, Johnny Reviews, Johnny Vasco, Johnny Bethnal Green, Johnny 20 names is here. And he says, morning, forgive the grammar, eyesight going. I hope it gets better for you, Johnny. And then you've got a few people saying to Johnny, saying hello to Johnny, and then Johnny says Gra and Ed. Okay, I think he's saying hello to Graham and Ed. Yeah, because he's got some problems with his eyesight at the moment. So yeah, so Chang. So that is us until next week. So next week, same time again, Chang, and we will have episode 7. And we're hoping, Chang, that we have to this week. We haven't had a loss to report this week. Yeah, it wasn't.
Not yet anyway.
No, because
Not yet anyway.
Today's show we covered Southampton and Frankfurt because that's what we've missed. We do this weekly, so that's what we've missed. So we haven't had a defeat yet. The weeks felt like a defeat for many people because we beat Southampton 3-1, but it was a poor performance in the second half. We drew 1-1 with Frankfurt with a much improved performance, and we're hoping that when we speak next week, because next week we'll be talking about today, we'll be talking about Thursday, and we'll be previewing Forest and anything that happens in between. So, are you looking forward to next Sunday's show?
Absolutely looking forward to next Sunday, Jose. I really couldn't care less, honestly, how we fare later this afternoon against Wolves, just so long we book our passage into the semi-finals of the Europa League, which is what I really hope to be reporting in a week's time when we do episode 7. And of course, we will always kickstart our shows in the order of the games that play out. But you can bet your bottom dollar that if we do get a victory in midweek over Frankfurt, that will be the first thing I'm going to be talking about. And even if we do, lose badly today, I think the only thing that matters for the rest of the season is in how far we can go into the Europa League competition. And let's just hope that in a week's time, next Sunday, around the same time, we will have something delightful to report to our listeners on episode 7. Having said that, thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been a fantastic 2 hours now, almost 2 hours since we started at 9:30. I really do
not
hope.
even an hour, not even an hour and 3/4 yet. We're still 2 minutes shy of an hour and 3/4.
I really do hope each and every single one of you have yourselves a fantastic Sunday ahead, wherever you may be tuning in from. Enjoy the festivities, enjoy the fixtures, whether it's the Premiership or the Spurs match or any other game for that matter, or even sports in general, or even if you're just looking to have a good time with the family, friends, close relations. I wish each and every single one of you a very good Sunday. And we will see you next Sunday for episode 7. Make sure to tune in. Please do leave a like for the stream, and maybe possibly even subscribe to Tel Cockerel if you haven't already. And having said that, come on you Spurs, enjoy the games, and we look forward to seeing you next Sunday for episode 7.
And for me, apart from next Sunday, I'm off work for a week, so you will be seeing more of me. I will be coming and I'll be doing some shows. I'm planning a show for tomorrow. I've not heard back from the person that was going to come on with me. He said he was going to get back to me last night, but he didn't. But you will see more of me. And just for the predictions, people, we will not be doing a prediction show till next Thursday, and that's for the results. And that's because there's a game next Wednesday. The last game takes place next Wednesday, Newcastle Palace. So that will be the result show will be next Thursday. And then we're back to week 33 predictions on Friday. But in between, I will be on because I am on annual leave. So with that being said, thank you everyone for tuning in. And thank you for the sponsors of today's show, which has been Chang for flexing his 5-month member badge, and for Tel Cockerel for gifting out 5 memberships. So thank you very much, everyone. And I'm going to finish off with come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
And in the big Ange I trust. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.